Did you know that some of the greatest football teams in history have arrived at the FIFA World Cup as kings of the world, only to leave humiliated, broken, and eliminated before anyone expected? First glance, it sounds like coincidence. After all, football is unpredictable. Champions rise, champions fall. That is the nature of sport. But for decades, a disturbing pattern has haunted the biggest tournament on earth. A pattern so strange that fans, journalists, former players, and even coaches have given it a name: the curse of the defending champions. And depending on who you ask, this curse may be one of the most chilling mysteries in sports history. Every 4 years, billions of eyes turn toward the World Cup. Nations stop. Cities fall silent. Families gather around televisions. Entire countries place their hopes on 11 players. For most teams, simply reaching the tournament is a dream. For the defending champion, however, expectations are different. The defending champion arrives carrying something invisible: pressure, legacy, history, and perhaps something else, something darker. The story begins long before modern football fans started talking about curses. To understand why this mystery exists, we must first understand what it means to win the World Cup. The World Cup is not simply another trophy. It is the ultimate prize. For a brief moment, the winning team stands above every other nation on earth. Its players become legends. Its manager becomes immortal. Its victories are replayed for generations. But history has revealed an unsettling truth. The higher a champion climbs, the harder it seems to fall. Throughout football history, several defending champions have suffered shocking collapses. Some struggled, others failed. A few appeared cursed. The pattern became impossible to ignore. Then came the stories, the rumors, the whispers, and eventually the fear. One of the earliest examples occurred in 1966. The defending champions were Brazil. At the time, Brazil possessed perhaps the most feared squad in football. They had won 2 consecutive World Cups. They were led by the legendary Pelé. Many believed another title was inevitable. Instead, something unexpected happened. Brazil collapsed. Violent challenges injured key players. Chaos followed. The defending champions were eliminated early. For the first time, people began wondering whether carrying the title itself had become a burden. But perhaps it was merely bad luck. Perhaps. Then history repeated itself. Again, and again, and again. Decades passed. Champions continued arriving with confidence. Many left in disbelief. The pattern grew stronger. Journalists began noticing it. Fans created theories. Statisticians studied it. No one found an explanation. Then came one of the most infamous examples: France. 4 years earlier, France had conquered the world. Their squad appeared unstoppable. They entered the tournament as favorites. Experts predicted a deep run. Some predicted another championship. Instead, what followed felt almost supernatural. The French attack suddenly seemed powerless. Opportunities disappeared. Goals vanished. Confidence evaporated. The defending champions failed to score a single goal. Not one. When the tournament ended, France had been eliminated in the group stage. The football world stared in disbelief. How could one of the strongest teams on earth suddenly become one of the weakest? The questions multiplied. No satisfying answers emerged. 4 years later, attention shifted elsewhere. Perhaps France had simply underperformed. Perhaps the curse was imaginary. Then Italy won the 2006 World Cup. The Italians were experienced, disciplined, battle-tested. When the next tournament arrived, many expected another strong performance. Instead, something eerily familiar happened. The defending champions stumbled. Mistakes multiplied. Momentum disappeared. Confidence crumbled. Once again, the reigning champions were eliminated in the group stage. The pattern had returned. Now people were paying attention. Commentators openly discussed the possibility of a curse. Fans treated it as a joke, least at first, but jokes become less funny when they keep coming true. By the time Germany entered the 2018 World Cup as defending champions, the curse had become a genuine topic of discussion. Germany was not supposed to fail. Their squad was loaded with talent. Their system was admired worldwide. Their preparation was meticulous. Everything pointed toward success. Everything except history. As the tournament unfolded, Germany looked strangely vulnerable. Passes missed their targets. Opportunities vanished. Confidence disappeared. Then came the shock. Germany were eliminated in the group stage. The defending champions had fallen again. Social media exploded. Headlines appeared around the world. The curse had claimed another victim. And now even skeptics were paying attention. Because football fans understand something important. One collapse can be explained. 2 collapses can be coincidence. 3 collapses raise questions. But when the same pattern repeats across generations, across countries, across managers, and across completely different teams, people start looking for answers. That search for answers led some investigators down unexpected paths. Sports psychologists pointed toward pressure. According to them, defending champions suffer from an invisible psychological burden. Every opponent wants to defeat them. Every mistake becomes magnified. Every match feels like a final. Eventually, the pressure becomes overwhelming. It was a logical explanation. Yet many fans remained unconvinced. Because pressure alone could not explain everything. Why did so many champions collapse so dramatically? Why did the failures often feel sudden and complete? Why did seemingly unstoppable teams become shadows of themselves? Some supporters looked elsewhere. They searched through football history. They studied old tournaments. Patterns emerged. Several defending champions appeared plagued by injuries. Others suffered internal conflicts. Some entered tournaments surrounded by controversy. Others experienced bizarre moments of bad luck. Taken individually, these events meant little. Together, they began forming a disturbing picture. Almost as though something followed the trophy itself. Of course, no serious analyst believed an actual supernatural force haunted football. At least publicly. Privately, however, stories circulated. One former journalist recalled hearing players discuss the curse inside training camps. Several fans claimed they witnessed unusual behavior from normally confident athletes. A former team staff member allegedly described an atmosphere of dread surrounding one defending champion's preparation. Nobody could prove anything. Yet the stories persisted. The curse became part of World Cup folklore. And like all folklore, it evolved. Each new tournament added another chapter. Each collapse strengthened the legend. Then researchers uncovered something even stranger. The curse seemed selective. Not every strong team failed. Not every favorite collapsed. The phenomenon targeted a specific group. Defending champions. The very teams expected to succeed. The very teams carrying the burden of glory. This observation fueled even more speculation. Was success itself the problem? Did winning create complacency? Did champions become trapped by their own history? Or was there something deeper happening? Something hidden beneath tactics and statistics? The mystery intensified because football is filled with superstition. Players wear lucky socks. Managers follow rituals. Fans perform routines they believe influence matches. Entire nations embrace traditions before important games. In such an environment, the idea of a curse feels strangely believable, especially when the evidence appears on the scoreboard. Then came the eyewitness accounts. Not paranormal eyewitnesses. Football eyewitnesses. Players, coaches, journalists. Many described an unusual atmosphere surrounding defending champions. An atmosphere difficult to quantify. One veteran reporter compared it to walking through a building moments before a storm. Everything appears normal, yet something feels wrong. Another described a sense of inevitability, as though everyone secretly expected the champions to fail. Whether these impressions reflected reality or psychology remains unknown, but they added another layer to the mystery. The curse was no longer just a statistic. It had become a presence, a story that traveled with every defending champion, a shadow that appeared every 4 years, waiting, watching, growing stronger. Then came another question. What if the curse itself influences outcomes? Not through magic, not through supernatural intervention, but through belief. Imagine being a defending champion. You know the history. You know the headlines. You know previous champions collapsed. You know journalists are discussing the curse. You know fans are watching. The story enters your mind. A tiny seed of doubt. One mistake becomes two. Two mistakes become panic. Panic becomes defeat. In this theory, the curse survives because people believe it exists. A self-fulfilling prophecy. A ghost created entirely by expectation. It is perhaps the most terrifying possibility of all. Because unlike a monster, you cannot defeat it. You cannot tackle it. You cannot outrun it. You carry it with you. Into every match. Into every tournament. Into every decision. Yet even that explanation leaves questions unanswered. Questions that continue haunting football fans today. Why do some champions collapse so completely? Why do certain failures seem almost impossible to predict? Why does the pattern continue returning? And why does every new defending champion eventually find itself confronting the same shadow? As another World Cup approaches, the cycle begins again. A new champion lifts the trophy. A nation celebrates. Players become legends. The world applauds. For a brief moment they stand alone at the summit. Then the countdown begins. For years, 48 months, 1,460 days. And somewhere in the background the curse waits. Patient, silent, watching. Waiting to discover whether its next victim has already been chosen. Perhaps there is no curse. Perhaps history is simply repeating itself. Perhaps statistics and psychology explain everything. Or perhaps football's greatest mystery still has another chapter left to write. Because one thing remains certain. Every defending champion eventually returns. And every defending champion must face the same question. Can they escape what destroyed those who came before? Or will they become the next name added to the legend? The next giant to fall. The next warning. The next chapter in a mystery that has haunted the World Cup for generations. Because some opponents wear jerseys. Others hide inside your own mind. And if the history of the World Cup has taught us anything, it is this. The most dangerous enemy may be the one that arrives before the first whistle ever blows. If you enjoy real-life mysteries, sports legends, and the unexplained stories hidden behind history's biggest events, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story. Because somewhere, another champion is already preparing for the next World Cup. And if the curse is real, you may already know their name.